Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the non-turreted American tank destroyer, the T110E3. I already done a review on the T110E4. And apparently one of my friends said, why is the lower plate easier to pin on the E4? I said they're all on the same chassis, and that is true, except there's a difference. Well, on the T110E4, the hull armor is 254. Same with the T110E5. They are on the same chassis. And I found out that this is on the same chassis, but an up armored version of the chassis. Now, the lower plate is still weak like it is on the E5 and E4, but not like it is on those two tanks. This one has 305 at the beak instead of 254. So that would be why that's harder to pin. I found that out, and if he's watching this, he can tell me he told me so or whatever. But I wasn't completely wrong, but I was for the majority wrong. But it's okay. Anyways, is this tank, as you can see, I also bought the Tier 9 back because I like it. That's another time, another video. But we're looking at this right now. The successor to the T95. Now, things about the gun on the tank. The horsepower is 875. You would think with that horsepower, this tank could be a little faster. It's faster than the 95. Don't call this tank fast, though, because it's not. Aim time at 2.5 seconds. Excuse me. Not that good. Accuracy 0.36, doable. But when you're shooting 3.5 rounds a minute with this thing, and you have 295 pin, you have 850 alpha, whoever you hit is either going to know you're there, or is going to feel it, or they're going to find out pretty fast that you're there, considering that you're going to be sitting there bouncing shots in this thing. Now, something that is about this tank, weak points on the front of this tank, there's not very many. Up there at the top where you see on the left side of the gun mantlet, up there at the top where there's like a little round part that's kind of flat, that is a weak point. Do not hit the observation devices. Hit the little like flat ring thing. It's very thin. You can pin it. You have to hit it though. If you hit too low, you're going to bounce. If you hit too high, you're going to hit an observation device or just bounce off. With a heat round, you can shoot through the gun mantlet of an E3 because there's nothing behind the gun mantlet around where that ring is. If you shoot, you could put like an inner tube around the gun that doesn't cover the whole gun mantlet, like you would imagine it's just a ring being around it. That's where you need to shoot. It's only 305 millimeters thick. If you have to shoot through the gun mantlet, that's where you have to shoot. But a lot of tanks won't be able to pin it. Heat rounds can. I mean, I'm not saying spam premium at him, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do when he's sitting there shooting 3.5 rounds a minute with 850 alpha with 305 millimeters armor on the front. You have to do something about it. And contrary to how the other tanks work, you would think that this little gun mantlet up at the top would be some sort of weak point. As you can see, it's a gun mantlet on a gun mantlet on a gun mantlet on a tank. It's this is armor. This is what you call armor. You don't mess with the front of an E3 that is hull down, unless you absolutely have to. The lower plate, though, on the outer edges of the lower plate, it's weak at 152 millimeters thick. I'm pretty sure on the insides, but I think 152. Don't hang me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 152. So if you shoot towards the outer edges, you're gonna go in. And that little dome thing right beside the gun mantlet, like not gun mantlet, but machine gun thing up there at the top, it's right below the A button, or like press A just like to tank that thing. I don't think that's a weak point. I don't think you can even hit that. But the around, if you're shooting at the front of the turret thing up on the top, the edges of it, you'll bounce off those too most of the time. I've never been able to actually pin that. Occasionally you will if you hit it at like an angle like that or something. I mean, I guess if you hit it kind of flat on one of the corners, you might be able to. But, I don't have any equipment on it because, as you can see, I'm broke because I just put, like, almost 4 million silver worth of equipment on a bunch of other tanks that I probably didn't need to. Like, I bought back well, I didn't buy anything back. I had a T2 Lite, and I like spent like a lot of money on it, and I regret every decision that I made. And like my E50M, my 62, my Bat Chat, a bunch of other things. I just put a bunch of like rammers, vents, and stuff on. It's only 76 millimeters on the side, but that's the body. I think the superstructure on the top and the rear, like the whole superstructure from kind of the back and like around up until you get to the front's 152 all the way around, except for that refrigerator cooler thing on the back that's like really thin. And the sides, everything below the superstructure is 76 millimeters thick. And this thing is really prone to getting ammo racked because the ammo rack, I think, it's kind of like how it works on the E3 and E5, I mean E4 and E5, because I've been hit right on the second road wheel and got ammo racked before. I might have been just, I don't know, that's happened to me in this thing. But anyways, I'm going to do this review a little different. I'm going to record this first, and then I'm going to go get another game. So we're not going to jump straight into a game. I'm going to, because I'm playing with somebody now, and I'm going to do like a platooning video with, as you can see, Red Ryder. If he's watching this, hello. But yeah. So you'll see a game here in a second. So see ya. Okay, now here's the game. This is actually the fourth or so, I think third or fourth game that me and Red Ryder played that didn't totally end in a clusterfuck. That going by either team goes one way or they get behind us and we get surrounded. But this is a game on highway. Counter battle, he's going to go to the left. I don't think he even makes it all the way to the left. I think he starts coming across the field about mid-game, so I started needing help because there was a lot of tanks up here. Now, I'm not going to go to the far left. If you're playing counter battle on highway, don't always go left and try to stop them getting into your bases. They don't always do that. I mean, it's a good thing that some people go that way, but you don't need more than three. I say 3 or 4 people going that way, you're fine. But if a lot of people start coming that way, yeah, sure, go back and stop them, but I'm not saying everybody needs to go that way. That's just if that helps anybody. That's what I think. Same with Lakeville. Don't everybody go up the valley. No, please don't do that. The valley, 1 or 2 people max. I mean, unless the whole team limbing trains that way. I mean, don't send everybody there unless there's more people there than those people can handle. But back to the E3 review. Do I think this thing is worth the grind? Yes. Which do I prefer out of the E3 and E4? E3 armor and gun. But that being said, the E4, by playing it for as much as I have, I don't see it being really a tank destroyer. I just see it not really an up-armored E5, because E5 actually, in my opinion, has it has a really strong turret. It's just the machine gun up on the top is really annoys me. Same with the E4. The E4 does not have a gun mantlet on the machine gun port up at the top like the E3 does. You can pin it. But in my opinion, if you go heavy tanks, the E4 is just totally different when you compare it to these two tanks. It's a mix between the two, is exactly what it is. I mean, it's E3 gun with the E3 style of superstructure as a turret, but the armor of an E5's body and turret. So when you compare them, you can't really compare them. You have to take trade-offs from the two tanks and mix them together. And if you want a heavy tank, you get an E5. If you want a tank destroyer, you get an E3. If you want a mix between the two, you get the E4. That's how it works with these tanks. Anyways, if you don't know, I gave up on the 430. I'm going to get it sometime. I'm just not going to go to as much as I was, because I really have the 62. I just don't want a 62 clone. I'm told they're totally different, but I'm going to go ahead and get the STV1 because that thing is just amazing. from what I've been told, and the Leopard 1 will probably be up there too. I'm going to get the Patton, but back to this game. As you can see, the game's kind of folding out the way that, for me, it needs to. For them, they're having a rough time handling me right now from where I'm sitting. Watch this shot. Boom. Yeah, that really put that guy in that T-34. That hurt his feelings with that turret. But when you ask me how to play the E3, I don't play this tank as much as I do, like, say, Death Star, medium tanks, heavy tanks. This is a tank that I play if I'm in a platoon. I don't know how to bounce off that the machine gun port, but don't show too much of your sides either, because you'll see exactly these two 430s are eating me up right now. Hull down as much as you can in this tank. You can push. A lot of people think, oh, 305 millimeters of frontal armor, I'll just run right up the middle and get shot all the times and totally bring everybody down because they won't be able to shoot through me. No, that's not how this tank works. This thing is not OP. Everybody says it's OP. I don't think it is. It didn't need the buff for the reload speed, but then again, I mean, there's no point in bringing it down. The E4 needed it, though. From playing it, it shot too slow. Now I can deal with it with rammer vents and gun lane drive. That tank is fine. But as you can see right now, the two 430s and the 268 are playing together, and the 430 and the 268 are trying to get around me. I asked my friend if he needs help with the ST1, and no, he didn't need help with him. He kind of just took him. He just, boom. That's what I like about the Jag Panzer, that 150 Alpha. Now, I'm thinking I hit his gun. He shot a heat round at me from what I think he did, but I don't care. After I got hit, I decided just to fall back and let my guys handle it. As for a second, I thought we were going to lose, and I thought this 430 was going to try to flank me, but he didn't. And the 268's actually coming back. But is it worth your time to get this thing? Yes, if you like slower tank destroyers with a lot of armor. If you can handle, if you're used to 850 Alpha guns, get it. The E3 is a monster all its own when it's hull down, but it's a squishy little tin can when you get around behind it and to its sides, because it ain't that OP if you're around circling it in a bat chat, I can tell you that. Arty, don't even try that. This ruins this tank. But this game's slowly coming to an end. That guy's dead. Get one more shot off. 7k damage. I think 1250 experience. See right there, hit him and already hits him too. So that's the end of the game. Spoilers, I get a Defender, Steel Wall, 99% Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, and a high caliber. First win of the day, and takes it a minute. But anyways, guys, 7k damage that game too, I'm pretty sure. If you're new, subscribe if you want to see more things like this. Tell me what you want to see next, and I'll do it. I have some games where I've done really, really well, and I just haven't uploaded them. Well, until next time, guys, there you go. Well, see ya.